This is it's going to be a different video from what I normally post, and I'm recording this video personal safety reasons. I think probably is the main reason. Feeling a little concerned, and it's nothing to do with you lovely people, and it's nothing to do with my birds. But for 5 years I have been legally standing up for myself against 3 very big major companies here in the UK. And I'm a letter writer, and I keep all my evidence and stand my ground because I'm fed up of being pushed around. It took a couple of years. I just say I don't want to drag their name into this because they did resolve it, but begrudgingly, and with a couple of years of battle and evidence and even getting my MP involved. So I won that one. A couple of years. And I've also been having ongoing debates, letters, issues with the CEO of EDF and with our landlord, who is Clarion. Now, I've been writing letters and all sorts, and I get fobbed off and spun around, and they do their usual games, but I don't quit, and I keep providing my evidence, and I keep asking the same questions. And we've had just dodgy stuff, just stuff I've been quite confident in knowing that these big companies are behind it, and just trying to power on with our lives and let them throw their worst at me, because I've got nothing to hide, and there's nothing they can drag out of my closet to try and use against me. So dodgy and wheeling, they're both EDF and Clarion, or using the police, I should say, trying to use the police to stop me, a disabled woman, from writing them letters. So the EDF CEO did that over the letters I was writing him about these disgusting electricity charges, and asking for him to explain the reasons for the rise in them. And I've been doing that since this all major jump up in price started a few years ago. And I think I sent about 10-15 letters over the past 3 years. EDF have sent me probably around 100. It's mad. I keep all of them. I keep it all, every single piece. This CEO tried to say I was harassing him with my letters. When the police phoned me to tell me to not write letters to the CEO, I asked them what grounds, like what had I done wrong for them to tell me to not write to the CEO. And they tried to say that I'd used threatening words, and I asked them to provide evidence of those threatening words, because I have copies of every single letter I write, because I'm not stupid. And they couldn't answer my questions, and it was dropped, and I was told I could continue to write to the CEO. And it was a very weird phone call. It's very dominant, and really trying to intimidate me on the phone call. And because again I stood my ground, asked for evidence of the accusations that the CEO was making, it got dropped because they had no evidence. It was just made up because the CEO doesn't want to answer my questions. So that's still ongoing. And as I said, there's other weird, I'm not going to mention on here because people just think you're paranoid, but in the back of my mind, when something happens at the moment to particular people in my family or around us, I'm like, noted. And yeah, so with Clarion, they've just they've been shocking, and we've been trying to get answers as to some of our service charges and why they charge us these service charges. So basically the question is, where is this communal area that we're being charged for? Been asking that for about 4 years. And last year when they upped our rent again, I wrote to them and said I won't be paying the increase, the extra £60 a month. until you answer the questions on where the communal area is, and until you can explain to me why you've upped my rent again. It took about 8 months of me owing them £60 a month, them harassing me for my rent arrears. I'm legally allowed to withhold part of my rent if I feel that I'm not getting part of my full tenancy agreement, and I have a long tenancy agreement. I've lived in this property a long time. I'm heading towards 20 years, so, and I've looked after it and I love it. It's my home. I'm respectful of it. I maintain it. I don't ask for their help a lot with anything. We sort it out ourselves. So they wouldn't answer these questions, but they were quite happy to ask us for this money we owed them. Quite quickly, by the time I owed, I think it was £108, I got my first letter of, "You owe us and we will take you to court." And I was like, no. I just kept asking the same questions. Please answer this and then I will up my rent. Answer this and I will up my rent, right? So there was no, I'm not going to pay it. It was just, I'm withholding it until I get these answers, which I'm legally allowed to do. So in writing, I finally got some answers, and in writing, they said there's a communal car park, which is quite far from our house, but then won't answer the fact that all our parking is actually allocated, and the communal car park they've mentioned has other streets backing onto it, and only like 2 houses from ours back onto it from our whole street. They're charging our whole street for this tiny little concrete square, which isn't bushes and trees, which is what they're meant to be maintaining. So, got that in writing. And I also got in writing that the reason why they upped our rent is because they can. So when we said, please could you come and show us this communal car park, we'd love to have staff come around and speak to us. Instead, they sent someone around to have a go at us about our rent arrears, and she was pretty vile and said some mean things, and we had to record her. And we recorded her, and we reported her to the police, we reported her to Clarion, and today I get a letter. They've slapped a behavioural order thing on my home. It's a final warning. I haven't had a first. She's accused us of swearing at her when she turned up out of our house without any prior notice at all. She turned up at our door, 2 of them. Accused us of swearing and shouting and being abusive towards them, but we recorded it all, and I only swore once when I was saying 1, 2, 3 and effing 4 on the houses. I was like being expressive. That was the only time, and I didn't actually swear at her or anything like that. Anyways, I've got this thing, and on this letter, this woman's put that the police were sent to our house. The police are involved in this anti-behavioural order, and it's a final warning, and they're threatening to take my tenancy away. And I'm like, no way. Like, I was proper shocked. Like, I'm smiling now, but I was not at the time. So I phoned the police. They're going to get back to me, and I said, I've not had any contact from you guys, but they're quoting you in this letter. And they said, no, we've not been to your property about this at all, and this is nothing to do with us. There are references in this letter to do with Clarion. It's nothing to do with them. The police told me to ask Clarion, for their evidence again. So yeah, there's a lot of dodgy stuff going on, and this is getting close to 10 minutes that TikTok doesn't like. So I just wanted to record and say those are some of the things going on, and if anything bad happens to me, yeah, it might be because I've been standing my ground and I keep my evidence. So fingers crossed nothing bad happens.